Electa, a non-partisan end-to-end women's political advancement organization, bridging inequality gaps in Nigerian politics. Ibijoke Faborode is the co-founder of Electa, and on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021, the organization launched Agenda 35, a $10 million campaign fund to empower 1,000 women to decide to run for office. So far, $2 million has been secured. I sat down with Ibijoke to find out more. Ibijoke, thank you for sitting down with me today. How are you? I know it's been a very busy few weeks for Electa.
I'm glad. I'm glad because it's one thing to work on something and not getting traction. You know, they say there's nothing like an idea whose time has come. I kind of feel like it's just it's a thing of time for Electa. There's so many moving elements. The NSAS campaign, COVID, and now women led. Obviously, just today actually, there's been the push also to get the bill that reserves one senatorial seat in each state for one woman. It's being pushed by Senator Honorable Oluga. So I feel like there's so many elements. The Senate President then announced that the constitutional amendment is going to factor in women's representation. So we feel like there's so much to really write on this time. And so I can't be tired. My body can be tired, but my soul definitely is as strong as ever. So it's a good time to be alive.
Now, you recently launched Agenda 35, a $10 million campaign fund to empower women to run for office. This is huge. Tell us more.
So Agenda 35 actually was launched less than 2 weeks ago. And essentially, it's just asking the question, what can we really do to trigger that critical shift out of 2023? Women are grossly underrepresented, but there are lots of structural and financial barriers. And so Agenda 35 is really, it's just a campaign that will drive that critical shift, and it has a 3-point agenda. So first of all, it's a $10 million fund, which is meant to empower 1,000 women and directly back 35 women. Now, why, you might ask, why is, as an organization trying to drive this critical shift, we need to put our money where our mouth is. You have the boys club, we're the girls club. We're seeing, an evolution of women in the private sector across different areas, but that very area of government that really drives decision making, we have that low representation. So it means that we need to put in more resources, we need to support the women. And what we're trying to really achieve is ensure that we can de-risk the process for running. So that women are not vulnerable, women are not seen as liabilities with their parties, women have more negotiating powers, to really just negotiate at the party level and just run a very competitive campaign. So that's why we feel like finance plays such an instrumental role to getting women into elective office, yeah.
Certainly, and let's speak about the framework for this, because the 2023 elections are just around the corner, and Electa's plan is to directly fund 35 women to run for office come the 2023 elections. First of all, that's amazing. Is this going to be at all levels of government, or how exactly is this going to work?
Great. So obviously, everything is fast-paced, it's still evolving. But right now, from where we stand, the plan we have, which could still change given dynamics, election season, so many things, the electoral amendment bill that's been worked on. But essentially, we're looking at 15 House of Representative members, 15 House of Assembly members, 3 senatorial seats, and 2 executive seats. And the goal is for us to put out a call for application in the next couple of weeks so that different women that are interested can put in the application. We shortlist, we're going to have a whole setup, a structure that will help to definitely analyze each candidate, the suitability, looking at their interests, at the fit for office, they have some resource, are they just starting, just to ensure that, we can get this woman into office, and we need to analyze the potentials, the skills, and the suitability for office as well. Now that, we've set up the site to run, Electa Academy is running, the next piece is Enable Light of 2023. So while we've provided this wider infrastructure, what is that element that will bring people together or ensure that we can then negotiate at a table and it's money? Women are seen as liabilities by political parties. So it means that we need to come with our resources. And when you come with the resources, you can make demands, you can negotiate.
Why are women seen as liabilities when it comes to political parties?
Very simple. See, the men come with a lot of money, right? Most people think when a woman wants to run, Number one, she doesn't have money, she doesn't have a network. They'd have to mobilize and hold her. She's a liability because they feel like she doesn't have that critical financial and human and social infrastructure that they really need. The political space is a very tough space, right? The men have been learning for a long time. They sort of have a very close network. So, for example, if there are a couple of guys, like a guy wants to run, this guy is running, let's mobilize, everyone mobilizes money. They're so fast with it. It's almost like an informal organized system for them. Women can't really fight sometimes because they feel like they're doing them a favor. Right? So it's that like we're coming full on. We have a support network, we have an infrastructure. You can't really sideline on this time. If you don't give us a seat at the table, we bring an army, we bring a folding chair, and we really, really stand our ground. That's essentially what Agenda 35 is about.
Grab that seat at the table. And $2 million has now been secured. That's huge. So what are the next steps?
Thank you. So the next step, obviously, is we have, the next step is people can get involved in different ways. So obviously we have a petition out and we're hoping to reach 500,000. And essentially it's just demanding more seats. That's the policy advocacy bit, holding our leaders accountable. The next part is the Agenda 35 fund. How do we get up to $10 million? It's an hybrid model. So there's going to be more fundraising rounds. Actually, we have different activities that we actually going to embark on to fundraise. There's a Women for Women fund coming up. There's actually a fund we're partnering with some other organization, women-led organization, to raise a $1 million fund. But I'm not going to talk too much about that now.
And the 35 women that you're going to empower to run in 2023, how is Electa going to go about deciding on the women that they support? And is this an open call? Can anyone who's interested in running for office come to Electa and hopefully seek funding? Any woman, that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, decide to run, we're currently trying to firm things up with the network, and essentially that would be, because now if you have this special network of women that are even interested in running, so it means that you can easily just, pick, or you can give them access to information. However, we're going to have an open call. The open call so that people can then put in applications and then we can review. It's the least we can do. Right? But also we're going to do recommendations. So you can recommend, you can nominate someone. It has to be a hybrid and holistic system. We can't use just one size fits all approach. So open calls, leveraging our existing networks, recommendations, nominations as well. And so then the selection committee will then look at the candidacy and the suitability of the candidate and then make a decision. Choosing 35 was so strategic for us as an organization. The National Gender Policy obviously has encouraged and proposed a 35% quota on women's representation across elective and appointed office since 2006. Nothing has been done. So obviously there's a big momentum on that. There's sort of like a subconscious alignment with 35. And so because we want something very deliberate, 35 for us was from very strategic and a very realistic point of view, saying this is what we feel we can do. And elections are very expensive as well. Would rather commit funds to a set number of women and then study the model, see where that's going to lead to, as opposed to funding all 1,000 women and then they can't really run a competitive campaign with it. So that's sort of like the angle around it.
It sounds like you've really, really thought about your strategy here, and now I'm excited because what does the Nigerian polity, or what should the Nigerian polity look like in 2035? Given everything that Electa currently has in store?
2035, wow. I think by then, my optimistic self will say 50-50. I feel there's a lot of political will right now. There's also a growing sense of social consciousness. The people won't matter. Everyone matters, but the people who might be able to challenge government, right now, sort of our work. And so that's putting some pressure as well. Also what happened with the NSAS campaign. So I say last year was an expose for the world when you look at how women also led the COVID situation across different countries and the success rates as well. So I feel like there's a lot of growing momentum, and it's not just lip service this time. There's a lot of intentional organizations like Electa that are really trying to move the needle on this. And so 2023, definitely there will be some shift. It might not be a level of successful one, but Imagine we get 10 more women as elector into elective office. Some organization get 5 more, 3 more, 2 more. The cumulative of that could be very powerful. And then the multiplier effect of that also is sort of setting, the scene for future elections. So if this model works, what I would say is by 2035, we should have a legislative system that is comprised of men and women and is equally balanced with both genders. And then we have greater representation, equal representation, more progressive and inclusive policies. So we start seeing socioeconomic growth and, nation building will then, become a reality in Nigeria, yeah.
Ibijoke, thank you.
Thank you so much, Leila. It was good chatting with you.
Today, no Nigerian woman has been elected into the office of the president, vice president, or governor of a state. Although the former deputy governor of Anambra State, Virginia Etiaba, served as governor for 3 months between 2006 and 2007, when former governor Peter Obi was impeached, she returned back to the office of the deputy governor when his impeachment was reversed by the appeal court. Electa's goal is to achieve 50% women's representation in politics by 2050. Today, only 6.7% of elective and appointive political positions in Nigeria are held by women. But with a clear strategy, like that of Ibijoke and her team, empowering women to run, there is hope that more women will hold positions and the gender gap in politics will be filled in years to come. Leila Johnson Salami, Arise News, Lagos.